I come from over by Averyville, and I grew up off of Smith Street, so like I'm Peoria down in my veins. So all I care about is trying to give back.
Mic check, mic check. What's going on? Welcome into another episode of the KZ Community Beats. As I, your host, Ross Martinez. This week, I have Fill the Fire Truck Campaign 2023. Two guests with me, Chanel Murry, the Supervisor, Community Connections of the Peoria Park Districts. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you did. Great job.
I'm saying, you back again. I had to make sure. With big personality comes big responsibilities. And then Scott Howard, the Secretary of the Afro Firefighters Association of Peoria. Scott, my fellow comic book nerd. I think you're more in depth than I am, though.
Oh, probably a little. I'm probably a little more in depth than most people. I'm in there like nowadays. I've got like the whole tattoo sleeve going on now and everything.
Yo, I see it. You even got the Invincible tattoo.
Yes, I did. Yep, I love me some Invincible. Invincible, Deadpool, Miles, like Green Lantern, especially Jon Stewart. Like those are like my people.
Dude, you know what I love about like the next generation of professionals coming in that we're a part of is we're not afraid to be nerds, and we let everybody know what we love.
Yes.
Like none of these kids understand like how much we used to get bullied in high school for like an anime.
Yeah,
like,
and
oh
now
my gosh.
everyone likes anime.
Oh, everybody likes
Everyone's
it.
on it now.
Everybody. Every other sentence like Demon Slayer this or One Piece that or Attack on Titan.
Oh, speaking of nerd stuff, were you ever a fan of RDC World?
RDC World.
With Mark and all them, they did the Anime House Part 1 to 6.
Yes.
All right, I'm about to say you gotta know that.
Okay.
Yeah, but I met Mark not too long ago at an event. He's a super chill dude.
Man, most of the people that you meet, especially like if they're voice actors or anything like that, they're super cool. They're always happy to like meet fans and just chill with us and talk about things, and like it's so cool like to me because I like anime. It's not gonna be popular, but like I got kids now. When I'm trying to eat, I like to watch anime dubbed. You know, I grew up like watching Dragon Ball Z.
Hell yeah.
Blah blah blah. And if I'm impatient, I'll watch it like subbed in Japanese. So you know, like it splits people when you're talking with them in the anime conversations because you know you got,
Depends on which one.
Yeah, you've got like the weebs that only watch in subbed. Like, they don't speak Japanese sometimes, so they're just
but they
like,
they follow.
Yes, so you like tell them like, oh yeah, I watched that one dubbed. They're like they don't want to talk to you no
Dude,
more.
So when I was living at home, my pops would always watch novelas, Spanish soap operas, right?
Right.
But he went to Turkey one year with my mom. He does not speak a lick of it. But for some reason, someone on the trip told him about a Turkish novela, and this was like 10 seasons of 50 episodes. This dude would put it on in Turkish, not knowing a lick, but he's like, ooh, what was that?
Ooh,
yeah.
That's how
He's like, that's her brother. I'm like, how?
It's like,
That's how my mom
tell.
is with her Korean soaps.
Mm-hmm.
She's Samoan. Are you watching? Whatever. She loves them though.
Yeah.
She even has my daughter watching them.
Are you serious?
Yeah, my 15-year-old watches Korean soaps now with my mom.
Is she picking up the
That's
lingo
what's
at
up,
all?
though.
Yeah. Well, she actually has been teaching herself.
Oh,
since
for
she was,
real?
like, 10. But it's just funny watching those two all super into it. Like they're talking about the plot and the twist and the back. I'm just like, am I the only one?
So if you want to become cultured, watch a lot of novelas because you're going to learn something.
You gotta tell me, man. My wife got me watching. We're trying to like do the immersion Spanish. You know, like I'm like 2 years in now, so she's like, you got to start watching more programs that'll like make you actually understand like when people are speaking fast. So she got me started on like La Pasión de los Gavianes.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So it's like it's wild from jump. Like 12 minutes in, like you watch a dude take another dude's head and smash it into like some undone dough, like because they're all bakers, and like his sister walks in talking about she likes this older dude, and this dude and the older brother is just flipping out. Like,
dude, it is so dramatic for no reason in all the right
though.
ways.
I can't get enough of it.
What was one? You need to watch La Escuelita.
La Escuelita.
It's a little school. So it's a bunch of adults that in like sketch comedy act like they're children in a classroom, and it's just BS humor all the time. The main dude is called Jorge, and he gets slapped with a ruler as much as possible. But it's just funny. Like La Escuelita VIP. You need to check it out. Just go home, tell your wife, be like, we're watching La Escuelita. I'll give you a link before you leave. Be like, boom.
When I get there, I'll be ready.
Okay, comedy nerd stuff aside, well, let's talk about why we're here. But we could keep talking nerd stuff if you like. So I met you both last year.
Right.
When you just got started to Fill the Truck campaign. Was it 2022, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about how it became a thing.
All right. So I guess I'll take the lead if that's cool with you.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with you talking the whole time.
Nah, you know I'm not gonna, you know I'm
Chanel,
not gonna
don't
let
act.
you do that, though. I'm not gonna let you do that. Chanel will always try and fade into the background like she's
Fade into
Batman,
black.
but she's the one that's out here actually putting everything together like the Oracle. She just needs some spotlight.
I like those references. I understood them. I love that even better.
Exactly.
Dude, Sky steadily hypes me up. We were at another interview. I almost started crying. I was just like, thanks, thanks.
Good. Well, you need people like
Things
that.
happen.
Yeah, you're enriching other people's lives, so they have to enrich yours back.
Right, I appreciate it.
Exactly.
It makes the work worth it
Yes.
because he knows. He's seen me go through. Whew.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I mean, when you plan the events, like, anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Definitely.
Every time.
Yeah, she doesn't know how to stop moving. I mean, it's almost impressive. It makes you want to be up on her level, and I don't think that's like
It's
a
possible.
summit you can never actually get to the top of. But if she's like dragging you up behind her, it's like you can definitely like get way better than you thought you could.
Oh yeah, because last time you were here, you were with your husband Ezra, and you were talking about all the things you're doing. I'm like, when do you sleep?
When I retire.
Yeah, well,
She's gonna rest when she's dead. That's like Captain America. You know, it's like if you get killed, walk it off. Like that's
put some ice on it.
Exactly. Every time I think about that, it's like, you know, I talk to Chanel and she's grinding, you know, and then I'm like, all right, well, my wife's like a local artist. She's trying to do some stuff, and Chanel's like, oh, I'll put her in contact with me. We're gonna try and do that. Links up with my wife, and then all of a sudden they're elevating each other. It's like that's all Chanel knows how to do.
His wife is dope too.
Yeah, somebody I talked to for the pod.
Yes, most definitely. You think
Look
she
at that.
wants
Yeah,
it?
she probably would have some
What
fun
the
coming
fight
down
that
here.
she's fighting is very important and should be communicated and it should be vocalized.
Okay.
Because what she's doing is I'm not even going to talk about it because I want her to explain it because the passion she has behind it is amazing and it's work. It's yes, definitely get her down here.
Okay, at the end of this, I'll get the contact. We'll make it happen. I trust.
I'll have to get the two of them down here because you two together are like a force to be
It'll be
reckoned
like
with.
you guys talking about anime
Yeah.
and comics.
Chanel's gonna be the random floating second guest host on this.
Yeah.
I think
She's gonna be kicking it with
A
you.
series.
she gonna come back 4 times before I rotate to anybody else. You know what?
Like,
Look at
man, wait,
that.
hold on. Are we like doing a joint podcast now? Like,
I
did you?
got you, Roz.
Appreciate
I
it.
know,
Yeah,
like
that's how
Chanel
we get.
sneaks in on you, man. She's like the liquid Terminator. Like all of a sudden you meet her and you're like, like she's cool, and then the next thing you know, you're like, why are you in my house? Like, how did you even get?
She hanging out with my dog. Be like,
now?
well,
Like
we're
you
good.
became family.
But that's Samoan culture for you.
That is.
Once you in, you in.
Yeah.
They treat you amazing. I've come across 3 different Samoans in my life, and as soon as they like you, that's it. Game over. You part of the family.
Yeah, Chanel's like that, man. She just won't let you not be great. Like,
Speaking of being great, the story you told me before we started the pod was the
Yes.
idea, the concept for Fill the Truck
Yeah,
came
I
from
gotta get
this
back on
amazing. Well, don't worry, I got you. We're gonna banter it about, bro.
oh, it's all good. So yeah, last year we had occasionally with the Afro Association, you know, we're like always big on trying to be in the community, especially like in the community with people that look like us, more minorities, things like that. And we all became firefighters in Peoria Firefighters Local 50. And we kind of exist within there to be able to reach out to, you know, young kids that are from more disadvantaged areas. A lot of us come from like the south end of Peoria, or like I come from over by Averyville, and I grew up off of Smith Street, so like I'm Peoria down in my veins. So all I care about is trying to give back, and I came from a lot of family of public service. So like I have like my cousin Greg Wilson who teamed up with Chanel, and they started like the Juneteenth Fest, and
Oh, snap.
I've had like uncles that were past chiefs of police, blah blah blah. I'm not going to name drop, but just it's just I was family oriented to want to give back to the community, and that's all I've ever wanted to really do. And I think that's what drew me to firefighting. And so I'm standing on the shoulders of a lot of guys that came before me, like our president Bobby Anderson, our original chief John Parker, like all of these big names to us that, you know, a lot of people don't know about. And they really taught us how to step up as individuals and try to make, like, be the difference, be the change. And especially with firefighting, like, it's not necessarily nepotism, but a lot of people get into firefighting because they know people that are firefighters. And this is an opportunity for us to connect with as many people as humanly possible and show them that you don't even need a college degree to get on this job. You just need your high school diploma, and then we'll put you through the fire training, and then they will actually pay for you to get your associate's degree so that you can progress on the job. And so we decided we wanted to be more community-oriented this go-around, and we wanted to do something that was big for us that we could do. And so I went to Chanel and I said, hey, I'm thinking about filling like 30 backpacks with school supplies, like
that's 80, a good goal,
90%
man.
of whatever they need.
Yeah.
And Chanel like looked at me like I had two faces, like, and I was like,
I've seen that look once or twice.
Yeah, I was like, I just said like the wrong thing, right? And she was like, Scott, ain't you a firefighter?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's the capacity I'm here in. And she's like, have you ever thought about maybe filling a fire truck with school supplies?
That's how?
And I was like, yeah, exactly. Like, I was taken aback, like, because we had just met, like, maybe 3 times before, and I was like, well, that's a good idea. I didn't have anything else to do. And I was like, that's excellent. You know what? Let me work some of my contacts within the department. You know, I've got like a couple friends on the city council. We'll see if we can make something happen. And from there, it just snowballed where we had like businesses that were like, we would go and ask, would you like to donate? And it's towards a good cause because essentially everyone was impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic at that point. And now we're hitting like where inflation is hitting us harder than even COVID did in some cases.
Yeah, it is.
And if we can even just step in just a little bit to alleviate a family's financial burden of not having to worry about buying a bunch of school supplies, and by proxy to actually help the teachers, because the teachers come out of their own pockets to try and help a lot of these students. Like, I came from a house where we were sometimes food insecure, sometimes we didn't have everything we need. My parents busted their tails, but sometimes you just need that little extra boost. And I had
community.
Some of my own exactly. And some of my own teachers stepped out, like Miss Stevens, Miss Jenkins, Mr. Hickman from Richwoods, like stepped out and went to the stores to go and get us school supplies that we needed to succeed in their classroom, and they came out of their own pockets. And we already know how teachers get paid.
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes they make less than most of us, and they're still out here using their own money to take care of these students like they're their own children.
I mean, I love the fact you name drop them because I feel like a lot of teachers don't get the respect that they should from a community. Like, those are the real, in my book, those are the real superheroes.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's cliche to say it and all that, but it's true. I mean, the amount of things a teacher really puts up with, deals with, and I'm not just talking about in class. I'm talking about the red tape, all the people above them, like, hey, you can't do this, but we need these metrics done at this time, but here is no resources. Like, so I'm glad that you name dropped them because there's a bunch of teachers that are just above and beyond, just have a huge heart, that just like y'all, that have a heart for the community and want to see them propel forward. So, you know, we have the Fill the Truck campaign. It just came up that easy. Like, like, what made you think that, Chanel?
I don't know. He was just talking to, he was like 30 backpacks, and I was just thinking, like, we have way more than 30 kids to take care of. Let's fill a fire truck. Like,
just do it.
Use the fire truck. You guys are firemen. You know, because, you know, firemen, kids, the communities love firemen.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are superheroes to everyone.
For real.
And so whenever you see a fire truck anywhere, even if it's just hanging out somewhere, all the kids want to get on it. They want to talk to you guys. You know, there's not that fear factor that comes with firemen. So
that's actually really true when you say that, because no matter, I just remember ever seeing a firefighter, I was always like super excited to see y'all growing up. There's not that instilled fear.
It's not.
And when we're driving down the street and we like see the kids running up next to the machine and they're giving us like the horn honking signal, and we like get the honk it, they all jump up and down and scream, and you know, they just love seeing us, and we love like being around them. That makes the job so worth it, man. Like, honestly, I love interacting with these kids, and what's wild is knowing that eventually at some point maybe one of these kids that we give this backpack to is going to look at me when I'm like a captain or a chief on the job, and they're going to say, hey man, I got a backpack from you guys and it helped us a lot, and I want to try and help the community. That's what it is. It's like planting seeds in a garden you don't get to see, just like Hamilton said. Like, I mean, it's really providing like a foundation for them to really grow and see the opportunities that are in front of them, not just like in the world but in their own communities. Because some of us, you know, when we grow up, we had tons of people that we know who just, they didn't want to be in Peoria anymore. They wanted to go and do this and that, and some of us stayed behind because we want to try and make the city as like better. And I don't fault them for wanting to go, but if I'm here, I'm going to try to do my best for everyone that's here, because Peoria as a whole is my family. Whether, you know, you like me, you don't like me, I want everyone in this city to succeed.
So what do you really love about Peoria?
Man, everything. I love the personality that's in Peoria. I love all the people that I get to meet here. I love the community work. I love meeting people like you and Chanel. Like, there's so many hidden gems here. We've got a blossoming art scene. We got Andre Petty in the Afro Association who's sitting here painting murals of Richard Pryor all over the city. And we've got ones that are participating in podcasts.
Toss that name to me, please.
Yeah, I mean, his work is excellent. He did the murals down at the mall. If you ain't seen Andre Petty, look him up. He did a custom painting for me of Childish Gambino from the This Is America,
For
video.
Real?
Yeah, it's the Blanca where he's actually leaning back, he's asleep with the firearm. And he did put all these stars and stripes and everything over it, and it's called USA, USA. And I've got it hanging up in my living room. It's one of my favorite paintings I've ever seen. I couldn't have been more happy to pay for it. And he does all kinds of other stuff like that. And he did, when we opened up the Four House, the new station that we opened up, he actually did a custom painting of the original black firefighter on the job, Eddie Gaines. And we ended up naming the station the Edward Gaines Memorial Station. And he's got a custom Petty right up inside of the station. You can see him every day. That's his legacy.
Damn, that's dope.
I mean, dude, it's so cool.
Does that add to the feeling when you walk in, you see, you're like, oh, part of history?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's you look at all of this. I mean, him, community work, we all stand on the shoulders of giants that came before us. I stand on the shoulders of Carl Cannon. I stand on the shoulders of Rita Ali. I stand on the shoulders of John Parker, the original black chief of the Peoria Fire Department. I stand on the shoulders of Chanel Murry in the room right now. And she doesn't want to hear that type of stuff, but there's not a person in Peoria that has any influence that doesn't know Chanel in some capacity. And the way that she is the connective tissue for everyone that's in this kind of work, she elevates everything that we're a part of. She didn't just elevate Phil the fire truck, she elevates you as a human being, and that's a gift. Having people like that around
do it.
It's so important. I see all the stuff she's doing with her husband. I see what she's doing for me, what she's doing for my life, what she's doing for different city council members. I
mean, Parkpalooza right now.
Exactly.
I mean, you got a lot going on. I know you feel a way when you hear stuff, but it's always great to hear the outside perspective of validation of what you're doing. Because we know all the work you do. We know all the sleepless nights. I mean, the last time you were on with your husband, we were talking about how passionate you are about the fashion, but then you have Parkpalooza, then you have Fill the Truck, and then God knows how many other things you're doing on the side.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of other things. This isn't the podcast for it, but I'm doing a collaboration with the Peoria Police Department and the school district to create safe spaces in the parks and around the schools throughout the city. It's called Streets Belong to Me, Safe Havens.
Oh, wow.
That's something else that we're doing.
I'm bringing you back to talk about that. This is going to be the KZ Community Beat with Chanel.
So, yeah, but, I mean, it's honestly, I think a lot of people go through life not knowing what their purpose is. And I know what my purpose is. My purpose is to help other people elevate their talents and elevate what pulls their heartstrings. And so whatever resources I have, I'll always make sure I'm coming in full force with everything that I have to assist people like Scott. Because I believe in people. I believe in Scott. Scott's going to be a captain or a chief one day. I really think a chief. But, I'm just going to put that out in the air.
Just doing the best we can.
It's a chief answer right there.
And it's because he has a heart for the people, and you want people like that in leadership. So I like being behind the scenes, pulling strings and helping people get to elevate higher. I'm fine with that. I love that. Especially even with my husband and with all of his talents. He came to me with the dream for Peoria Fashion Week. And he was doing it by himself for a while, and I just waited. You know the story. I waited, and he was like, I need help. So then it turned into a 3-day event. So it's just, and not even with that, there's been so many models that have gotten major agency deals from that show. One of the main designer, she is now getting ready to be headlining for BET Awards. So you know what I mean, and it's stuff like that, And we may be small in Peoria, but what were we talking about earlier? If it plays in Peoria,
I've heard that so much.
It plays in Peoria.
Like, this is the big test market for a lot of people.
Well, I was surprised to find out, like, because I like to look into the history of, like, the city and stuff, and everybody knows, like, we get crossed over with Peoria, Arizona all the time.
All the time,
like,
yeah.
All the time. And Peoria, Arizona, population-wise, has a bigger amount of people than us. So, I mean, it makes sense. But I started looking and I was like, why is it Peoria, Arizona, too? Those were original Peorians from Peoria that wanted to start a new Peoria in another state.
Are you serious?
Yes.
No, this is like fact?
This city birthed another city that's larger than it is. Yeah.
The founder of Chicago was from Peoria.
I mean, it's
I did not know this. Are you serious?
Yep.
What? Wait, hold on.
Big things come out.
You have to look it up. Look it up.
No, I mean, I'm gonna look this up. But, okay. So, someone from Peoria moved down to Arizona, they created Peoria down in AZ.
A whole group of people moved from Peoria, Illinois to Peoria, Arizona, and started Peoria, AZ. And that originates from here. And that's like not to knock on the accomplishments of Peoria, Arizona.
Knock them, no.
It's an excellent place. But just to know, like, greatness can still come out of here. Even though we're only 117,000 strong since the census, like, we still do that. You know, we still have name recognition. Hell, I've seen Peoria name dropped in like 3 programs.
Really?
Like even on Ted Lasso, they even reference Peoria.
What's that game that all the kids play that they steal cars?
Wait, what?
What is it?
I can't remember.
They steal cars and they rob banks and stuff.
Cops and robbers?
No,
it's a video game?
GTA. Is that it?
Oh, Grand Theft Auto? Yeah,
Grand Theft
Oh,
Auto.
yeah.
There's a Peoria, Illinois in Grand Theft Auto.
There is?
One of the first places that you hit in the game Rampage. You remember that back in the day?
Yeah.
Like with Lizzie, and like one of the first places you hit is Peoria.
Are you serious?
In the video game. Yeah. I mean,
Wait.
I've got an arcade. I'm a nerd. I've got an arcade cabinet at my house.
I have my original N64 down in my apartment right now with the Rampage.
Put it in and check it out. I promise you, Peoria is in there.
Yo!
I couldn't believe that when I was a kid playing Rampage. I was like, oh! Like, I was like, we're that famous. Like,
It's kind of crazy.
Got some recognition to it.
Yeah, when you really think about it, it is. I mean, so in the year and a couple months I've been here, one thing I've noticed is Peoria has a huge heart. There's a lot of people just willing to just give and give and give. Mm-hmm. So when you give and give, it's great to do that, but it's also good to see the effects, the causality of what you do. So after the first year of doing Fill the Fire truck, what happened from that? What did we see after the first year of the campaign?
So for reference, we went from wanting to fill 30 backpacks to we were out in front of the stores, like in front of your local Walmarts, which we will be again on the 24th, the 8th, and the 15th. And from 12 to 4, we'll actually be out there. And what we do is we hold signs and we ask for people to consider going in. And when you're grabbing, your groceries, just grab a pack of crayons or grab a backpack if you feel comfortable with that or whatever. We have a whole school list and people will take pictures. They go in, they buy that, and then they can come out and they can put it onto the fire machine and take pictures with us. And we get to interact with the public and get to know them. And we have 170 people on the department, so there's all these different faces and people from all walks of life that really get to spread their wings here, like in this city. We got a bunch of dudes that just came in from Chicago that are now getting used to like living in Peoria. We've got people from all over the place. And so what we did last year was we compiled everything, and then by the end we had 375
almost
backpacks.
400 backpacks.
All filled up.
I mean, completely filled with the wish list that the schools send out for each grade.
So from ideally thinking, 30 is not bad, we can make it happen, to almost 400.
Yes.
Packed.
And we're aiming for 1,000 this year. And we've already got, we're going to get there.
We're going to get it.
We're doing our best, but we still need the community's help to be able to accomplish it. Because, a lot of us, we're putting in a lot of our time, we're putting in our efforts, we're putting in, some of us in our own cases, we're putting in our own money to try and make sure that we can help and pull up the people, like the young kids that are coming up behind us. So when we were able to give that out, it was stunning to see the amount of need that was actually out there. Because Chanel organized the stuff down at the Urban League last year, and we had so many backpacks, we actually had to fill up 2 fire trucks. We didn't even have to fill up one.
That,
we
yeah.
had to fill up 2, and that was wild to me. And we came riding in, and Chanel called me before, because we rode on the back of the fire truck there, nice little thing. See all of this whole fire truck. You can't even get in it because
hit him with the Princess Diana wave.
All we got is the one dude that can drive, and so she's like, "Hey, cuz, before you even get here, I need you to know there's 500 people here." And I was like, "You nah, you playing. Like, you're
For real.
And she's like, no. And so I was at the station that was down the street, and I looked way down the street, and I just saw this sea of people, and I was just stunned. You know, so we got to get there, and one of the big things that we did was we tried to keep all of our backpacks varied. So it wasn't like a uniform backpack where you just got like a specific color or anything like that. We tried to get as many like out there as you could. So like, and I'm a nerd, so you know we're cashing in on that. So I grabbed Dragon Ball Z backpacks. I grabbed Mario. I grabbed Sonic. I grabbed Minecraft, Roblox, whatever the kids are into. I was grabbing it, man. I had kids jumping on me because I was wearing like a My Hero Academia backpack.
For real?
While I was passing stuff out. And they're like, hey, I want that backpack. Put that one right there. Because when we're kids, you know, it's not like, especially when you're going to a school where you got school uniforms, you don't think about like, oh, which kicks do I got or anything, because everybody looks the same. But your backpack,
it said a lot about you.
That says a lot about you. And when we got like this one little girl came up and she was like, hey, can I have that backpack right there? And it's this pink JoJo Siwa one. You know, and that's all she wanted.
And you know JoJo Siwa is pricey. So that was probably like her dream come true.
Mm-hmm. And we were able to give that to her, and she was like so excited, man. And like just to even see that little girl light up like that one time. I don't even know her name, but I still haven't forgotten her face.
You see the face.
She'll remember him for the rest of her life as the person that gave me the JoJo Siwa backpack that I've always wanted, but I could never get.
Yo,
we can do that every year.
Just impact one person that greatly.
Just one.
So how's that feel in the heart and the soul? Like to go from coming to Chanel after the third, fourth time meeting and be like, okay, it may be a stretch, but I want to get 30 backpacks to 2 fire trucks failed. Like,
it's like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like, man, if I just went out to my garden and I just threw one seed in there and I was like, all right, we'll just see how this grows. And then all of a sudden, like, your neighbor comes over and they're like, here, I'll give you, like, a little fertilizer. And then all of a sudden, you got, like, an entire garden that just is exploding. It's bursting at the seams. Like, it's... I was in sheer disbelief after we gave everything away. And I couldn't believe that we had accomplished it. And I can't even just take credit for it because there's so many. There's like Sean Solberger, the chief of the department. There's Tony Cummings, who's the assistant chief of the department. There's people like Lori Baxter, our division chief, like, and so many more. I wish I could shout out to every single person that participated last year because it wasn't even just fire department personnel. They all made it happen. And it was just from this little idea that I picked up from some people that came out in front of me. And we turned it into like a whole movement, and now this year we've got a proof of concept. We've done several interviews. We're about to have one of our it'll be our second annual celebrity bartending, where we've got actual city council members and the chiefs of the department that are going to be coming out and bartending at Olympia Bar and Grill to raise money just specifically for this.
When's this?
Tomorrow. Well,
I guess I'm going. I'll tell you about how it is at the next episode.
All right. This Saturday, 2 to 6.
2 to 6?
2 to 6. Chanel's going to be out here slinging drinks. The best mixer in the P.
Ooh.
Best mixer in the P.
I mean, I could special release this today. I might as well. Whatever. I like people. See, I don't really edit too much around these. I kind of let people just in, like, you're a fly on the wall in the conversation. I think so.
Love every one that I listen to. I love it because it's organic.
Oh, thanks.
I love it.
It's, you know where this birthed from? Back in college, I was a nerd for conversation. Like my other major's philosophy, ethics, and the communications. I love just getting to know somebody. So I legit would go with an empty backpack, sit at the lunchroom table for 4 hours, and just sit down. Whoever came by, hey, come sit down, and we would talk. And just hear people's life stories.
That would be so nice.
Dude, hell yeah. I do that now for a living. I get paid to do it.
Like, man, that's the dream, though. Like, that's eventually getting somewhere where you're getting paid to do what you do. Like,
hell yeah.
You know, I feel the same, like, when I'm firefighting. When I come and we help save somebody, or we help someone, like, with chronic pain to get to the hospital, and their family's like, we're just thankful that you guys came. That's enough.
Just
like,
that.
For me, it's... You know, the money is decent, and I'm glad to be able to help support my family, but what really pays, like, my emotional dividends is being able to actually do something that positively, affects anybody that's in the city.
Now, let me ask you on the flip of that, because you get to save a lot, and you get to be there in moments where people think they have no hope, and you're able to instill that ounce of hope they need to push forward. It's amazing.
Yes.
But on the flip end, on the yin and yang of it, there is a lot of negativity that you see and live through. How do you prevent that from kind of solidifying your heart a little too much?
Man, the thing that I'm really big on is, like, when I'm in conversations or anything, I don't hide the fact that I need emotional support. You know, honestly, firefighting is one of the top, like, jobs with a high rate of suicide, like, in the country.
It is.
It is. It's, like, just behind police work. You see a lot of things, like, on this job, like, honestly, and I don't want to get too, like, deep or too real about it.
Yeah, no, of course not.
Like, I actually have a therapist that I talk to regularly, and she helps keep me grounded. My wife helps keep me grounded. You know, one of the things that people don't really think about is how big sleep deprivation is on the job, because when I'm there for 24 hours, and then I'm off for 48, and I'm down at Station 4, so we run, and then we've got, like, guys my friends up at Station 13, where they pretty much run all night. So you're getting sleep where you can, and then you're still trying to go home and function for your family.
Yeah. And then still have your own individuality at the end of the day. You have all these different strings being pulled from you.
And it takes a certain type of person. Like, I don't get completely emotionally hardened to when, like, you know, somebody calls me at 2 in the morning for toe pain or something like that. You know, we have all kinds of calls like that. But generally, the assumption is that if someone is trying to reach out to you at any point in emergency services, to them, this is one of the worst moments of their life. And you kind of have to keep that in mind. But when you're struggling like that, especially, like, I come home and I'm exhausted, you know, and I don't know if I have the emotional or mental bandwidth to deal with my kids, I can fall back on friends like Chanel. I can fall back especially on my wife, Sarah. Like, she's a blessing. I've never met anybody that's as more passionate than she is about anything. Like, I'm honestly one of the luckiest men in the world to say that I can call her my wife. Like,
That's
passionate about everything.
That's super
Everything
dope.
that comes out of her mouth is full of passion. I have never spoken with her one time and could not feel every word that was coming out of her mouth.
Yeah.
That's dope. Those are unique people that they speak from the heart every single time.
Every single time.
But I'm glad you opened up about that, because in June it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I've been a big advocate for, because I've dealt with my own stuff, anxiety, depression, and all that. And we find it more common nowadays, but I think it's always been there, and people are just now opening up. So the city offers you guys services, right?
Yeah, so we have a EAP kind of system in place where we can go and see therapists, you know, that are available to us. We also have this one lady named Colleen who reaches out to the department personally. She's one of our own therapists. We can actually call and speak to her. She's done a world of wonderful things, like, for myself anyway. I'll be upfront about it. Like, I when I called, I needed it. And sometimes, you know, sometimes you're just struggling, you're just having a rough time, you're just having a day, and then sometimes, like, those feelings just pile up, you know, until you're like a boiling kettle ready to pop. But we also have, like, a familial brother sisterhood thing going on in the department, where you're surrounded by 170 plus people that all know kind of what you're going through, and there's no stigma with opening up about it, which is really beautiful.
That's dope.
For a long time, you know, it was like that tough guy job where you came in, you flexed, you acted like nothing was wrong, and then you went home and, like, we had guys, you know, dealing with depression, dealing with, you know, substance abuse, like, mostly probably alcohol, things like that, like, a long time ago. And now it's more open and honest with each other, where it's, hey man, I'm not doing so hot. Can you talk to me? Like, have you ever been through anything like this? And then you can open up about that with each other.
Hell yeah. It's always great when you got somebody else in the trenches, because I remember there was one day where I was in a meeting with my boss, and I'm like, boss, I'm having really bad anxiety right now. Like, it. I remember even tearing up now thinking about it, but he's like, go home, rest, you're fine. And then he checked on me later. He's like, hey, do you want to talk about it? We talked about it, and it felt good. Mm-hmm. It feels good to have somebody else that understands things you go through, or at least can be a supporting crutch when you really need it.
Yes.
So does that help you also just get through everything?
Yeah, it helps me a lot, because the one thing that I wanted to make sure of was that I wasn't like a parent that just came home and all I did was snap on my kids and be mad. You know, I've got 2 kids, both of them are on the spectrum. one a little more than the other, and their names are Locke and Mortis. They're the best kids that have ever happened to me. Like, I love them to death. But I also know, like, growing up, sometimes our parents would get mad. They'd snap at us. They'd say stuff, and, you know, it's like that saying, the axe forgets but the tree remembers. And I don't want that feeling with my kids. Like, I don't want their defining traits to be, like, the core memories, like, from the movie Inside Out, like, where it's me yelling at them. I don't want that. I want them to remember me being a supportive dad. And if I can have a supportive system that's surrounding me to make that better for them, then I'm going to do that. Because I don't have to be, like, this toxic masculine figure where, oh, nothing phases me. Dude, everything phases me in one way or another. It's just the matter of learning to be able to deal with it, and then not preventing yourself from seeking out people that are going to be able to help you to make that better.
Yeah, it's understanding the emotion, not repressing it, and allowing it to breathe.
Yes.
I think that's a big thing, a lot of men specifically, where we don't let it breathe. We acknowledge it sometimes, until we can't anymore, and then it just, boom, out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
So that's good.
In weird ways.
You
know, like over stuff that's just inconsequential.
I'll literally, like, I won't get to the microwave before 01. I'm like, oh man, what the?
Why I gotta listen to this alarm? Like,
why I gotta do this as a strong, independent man? I hate life, though.
Man, like, I'll come home and my kids lose that tiny little Roku remote, and it's like, man, what? Now I gotta use my phone. Like, you know,
like,
calm down.
I love asking questions about therapy and mental health. So if you want to stop, just let me know. But what have been really good ways for you to send it back down to 0?
Oh man, one of the biggest things was learning how to practice mindfulness. Which, to me, it was like a newer concept in the last year. So it's the idea, it's kind of like the original count to 10 sort of thing, but except for when you're counting to 10, you actually don't focus on just counting, because your mind can simmer on what you're dealing with. Whereas if, like, when you're practicing mindfulness, you actually, like, focus on the feel of the texture of something that's beneath your fingers, or, like, I'll run my fingers, like, along the ridges of my jeans. Or, like,
I hold my dog.
Yeah. And when you're doing that and you're actually trying to clear your mind and just focus on that one thing, 7 to 10 seconds is all it actually takes for any negative emotion that you have to be able to pass through you. Huh. So if you actually hang on to it, you, like, and if you're, like, counting to 10 but you're still thinking about that thing that's, like, pissing you off, it's not going to go anywhere. But if you're, like, mindful and you're calm and you breathe and you just only focus on, like, what's happening to you right in this moment.
Being present.
Yes, being present right then. It'll pass, and man, that stuff works. You ever
use that while on the field, where, like, you get there and it's just crazy?
Yes. So we were coming down the road a couple months ago. We have some pictures on the Afro Association page and the Peoria Fire Department page of a fire that we had on Madison. It ended up being like a whole structure. The whole back was a fireball. The whole building was loaded with, like, all kinds of propane tanks, and there were, like, lawnmowers all out in the yard, and the other house that was far away from that house was actually starting to catch fire as well, because, like, heat radiates. So when it jumped across, like, 3 lots and started lighting off the other house that was next to it. And we were going down the hill, I could see the glow from, like, a quarter mile away.
Oh shit.
And you kind of have to, like, sit in the back, and, you know, when you see something like that, like, your first thing is like you're just getting so hype about going to, like, this huge fire, that if you kind of, like, take a minute and just breathe and let it out and think, and you've already got, like, a plan normally in place with your captain about, like, okay, this is what he's going to expect from me when we get there, and you can roll with the punches. But if you just breathe and calm down, like, responding to every fire, like, you can actually, we learn how to read smoke, so we can tell you, like, okay, this smoke is, brown and turbulent, so it looks like it's going to flash over. This smoke is black and dark, and it's coming from the inside of the house. It's probably a room and contents. Like, you can tell, and you can learn how to approach those situations from a position of trying to be calm instead of being panicky. Because if you're panicky, you're probably going to get yourself and the person that you're with hurt. And I owe that to a lot of the professionals. Shout out to like every captain, battalion chief, engineer that rides a seat on the Peoria Fire Department. Like, man, I've seen some of these dudes put in the work when it comes to like the most intense structure fires I've ever seen, and they are calm the whole time. And when you have people that are surrounding you with that kind of energy, it's so easy to kind of let it, radiate into yourself. Take it into yourself. Like if you're calm, I'm calm.
It's
I
like
can match that energy.
It's like something's going crazy on the house, and the kids look at you for reassurance and hope and calm. So in the moment, professionally, I know when like things go crazy here, I look at my boss like, Scott,
what are we gonna do?
He's like, we got this. And inside, he'll be like, I'm shitting bricks some days. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I trust you still.
If you're dealing with somebody that's like wilding out on scene,
yeah,
we have people we have a mental health sort of thing that goes on everywhere. Or somebody's having just a terrible day, so they'll just treat you like garbage. Like as soon as you show up, and you're like, I can't match this energy. I have to try and be cool. And you look at your captain, and he is calm, cool, collected. He's been like 20 years on the job. He's already dealt with this type of thing before. Man, say less. It's a whole lot easier to be able to deal with that. Like if you get somebody who's just hyped the whole time, it's going to make the scene more chaotic. But if you've got like veterans that have seen all this stuff and they pass that knowledge on to you, like it's on a whole other level.
So Chanel, we've heard him big up you nonstop, but there's something you said at the beginning of this out, and he also validated that he's going to be chief one day, right? Mm-hmm. What qualities do you see in him that you can just see that lane? Because I see the calmness with him right now.
Oh yeah, that how he is with his fellow firemen. Most leaders, most people want to be leaders, but you can always tell a real leader from how they treat their, what do you call it?
Subordinates.
Their subordinates.
He already knew the word. He was ready.
And so Scott is a lot like me as well, and I think that's why we mesh. So he's always bigging me up, but I also see him uplifting other people, trying to connect other people all the time. Even in the most chaotic situations, Scott is very much into connecting everyone. We're here for the same reason. We're here doing the same thing. Why don't we do it together? I'm really big on us getting rid of silos. Peoria, that's one thing that I do not like about Peoria. We have too many silos.
I've heard that.
I understand why. However, if we're all on the same page and we're all trying to do the same thing, then we need to just get rid of the silos. That means getting rid of the egos. That means getting rid of the trying to one-up the next person, all of those things. And this is something that I see in Scott that he does not bring to the table. He wants to help everyone else. He wants to bring everyone with him, the same as me, and he's willing to teach. And that's something because if you teach what you're doing now to the next person that's coming up after you, you can put that down, hand that over to them, and then you're moving on to the next thing. Scott has a lot of qualities as a leader, and just across the board, even how he is with his family, how he is with his kids, how he is with his wife, that just speaks to how much of a leader he really is. So he can big up me all he wants, but he knows. He knows.
You're gonna choke me up in here.
Yeah. And then even watching
good,
his
you deserve
growth,
it.
Even watching his growth from when I first met him, he never wanted to do any kind of public speaking. We used to push him. Scott, get up there and do that interview. Scott, get up there and do that interview.
Because even last year when you brought him, right, he let everybody else take charge. I do remember this. You let mostly everybody else take charge in it.
Because it's not just me. It's not.
Yeah, but it's your vision. And no one can explain your vision better than you.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Like, I don't mind stepping up trying to, like, actually try and make something happen. But the fact of the matter is I don't need, like, the name recognition. I don't need the ego. I don't need the consistent reminders that what I'm doing is good. Because I feel that it's good for me, and I feel that it's good for the people surrounding me. But the thing is, like, none of this would be happening without participation from everyone. Like, it's huge to be able to be a part of all of this and to learn. Like, honestly, learning. I'm 33 now. I'm going to be 34 before.
Are you my age?
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
I'm a lot older than I look.
No, I thought, bro, I'll be honest, I thought you were 25.
Yeah, I get that all the time, man. Before I got on the department, when I got hired, I was 147 pounds. So I was, like, tiny. And I thought
I was 25.
I was 29 when I got hired, and I was 28, excuse me. And I had people that would always be like, "Are you even old enough to be on the department?" And then I kind of like, I started learning from some other like bodybuilding firefighters, like our president on the Afro Association, Bobby Anderson. Like this dude is just built like he's IAF or IBAFF pro. Like actually goes to bodybuilding shows.
For
like,
real.
He was my captain for a while. He's like, "Man, Scott, seriously, you run all the time. And you don't do any protein after you work out. Like, have you ever maybe thought about doing that? Like, for real, dude? Like," and I'm like, "All right, Bob, like, it's not that big a deal." He's like, "No, it is." He's like, "Trust me, you'll see." So I started, like, doing protein. Man, I gained, like, 25 pounds of muscle in, like, 6 months.
But are you the one that they send into the fire? Because I heard, like, the smaller firefighters are the ones that get sent in for rescue, or
it depends.
Is that true?
Everyone's got defined roles.
So what's your defined role?
So I'm on Engine 4, so the chances of us being first in on a fire are very high. So when I, like, follow my Captain Doyle, into a fire, like, my charge is to either take the nozzle when he hands it to me when I go in, or I will take hose and I'll carry it in for him as he's flowing off. Because what you don't know is, like, fire hose will fight you the whole time because you're like it's flowing intense pressure off so we can get as much water onto the fire as we can. Mm-hmm. So a big chunk of our fight is like actually fighting the hose itself.
Because like it doesn't take like 4 or 5 firefighters to like hold that down, hunker it down.
Going, like if like you really have that pressure up high, it'll throw you.
For
like
real.
It will pick up grown men. I've seen it happen. And so, like, it's gating it, properly and making sure that you're hitting, like, a specific area of the fire. So they'll send us in, but we've got bunches of guys. Like, I've had to cut holes in roofs when I'm on truck companies. I've had to do search when I've been on truck companies. I've had, having to cut up cars and going in and picking up, like, tools that are 70, 80 pounds and having to hold those up while I'm using them to cut apart, like, a mid-sized Kia. Like, we have all kinds of roles in the department. And the dudes that do it are professionals every day, and I'm so thankful to be among their members. Like, honestly, it is a privilege for me.
See,
every day.
Chanel, you know this about me. I'm a body language person. Mm-hmm. So whenever he really, really wants a point to get out, but not like, a selling point, but like, hey, I mean this. He puts his chest out. He's like, "Look, let me tell you." Exactly. This happened like 3 or 4 times, and he did it again right now. He's like, "Let me tell you, everybody." But that's dope. I mean, that shows from the beginning of the podcast to now, you were talking about how, you authentically really love this community, how you really want to give back everything you can. That goes with the humility of it. Hey, it's not just me, it's XYZ, it's Chanel with the ideas, with the community coming through with 2 truckloads. Yeah. It's the other firefighters taking time out their busy day to come help out with this idea, not knowing if it's going to succeed or fail. And then it's also just trusting the community to just support you guys.
Yeah.
So I got 2 last questions here. One's business, one's fun. So business, what are the dates coming up for Fill the Fire Truck, and where can they get more information?
So tomorrow, June 10th, from 2 to 4, we have our 2nd annual celebrity bartending event. 2 to 6, sorry.
We out there 4 hours slinging drinks, y'all.
2 to 6. I might go get a little tipsy with you.
The Walmart the Walmart locations or the Walmart dates. What are those again?
So we have 2 celebrity bartendings. We have June 20. I apologize. We got June 10th, which is tomorrow. That's from 2 to 6 at Olympia Bar and Grill. We will also have a second one of those on July 1st, which will have featured our council members Andre Allen and Bernice Gordon Young, as well as several members from the fire department. So thank you so much for their participation. That will also be 2 to 6 at Olympia Bar and Grill. We will be in front of the Walmarts on Allen and University on June 24th, July 8th, and July 15th. They're all Saturdays from 12 to 4 collecting school supplies. So we'll be out there with like music and fun and just good vibes and interacting with the citizens. You come by, you see us, we'll put the stuff onto the fire truck, and we'll take pictures with everybody. It's always been a good time. I love just doing that. And then on July 27th at
the place is tentative right now.
Yeah.
We're going to decide on which park we're going to use for the backpack distribution.
Ooh.
So.
Is there a central website, location, Facebook page that you guys will be posting updates with anything coming up?
So it's AFFA Peoria on Facebook. That's the Afro Firefighters Association. We also have information on Peoria Firefighters Local 50 and the Peoria, Illinois Fire Department Facebook pages. It should be easy to find all three of them if you want to. Follow us on the Afro Association. We love to interact with people on our social media. I help run it. I love just getting to read from people and to get them to know our members just as much as they know all the other members on the department. Everybody that's on there is cool, unique people, and we just love being out here. So, yeah, you can follow us on there. We provide all kinds of information. And if you have opportunities where you want to coordinate with us or you want to get us out in front of more community members, like reading books with kids at schools, which we've done before, or being a part of the power lunches like Chanel supplies, we're out here, man. We love it here.
Or even interviews. They can contact you guys, Chanel, right? You're the main one. Anybody wants to book you for an interview, how can they get a hold of you?
CHMURRY@peoriaparks.org. Just email me and I'll set that up for myself and Scott. Or if we can't attend, we can send another member. But I have Scott's schedule, so I usually just go off of Scott's schedule.
You know, when that messenger...
I try to share the wealth with everybody. So I look at our other members and I'm like, hey, you want to go do an interview? And then most of the time they're like, nah, it's you, Scott. And I'm
exactly.
like, no, I need you guys to shine more than me.
Nah, that's your job right now.
Right.
When I messaged her, she's like, I'll get Scott. I was like, all right, cool. I was like, yeah.
And then also we have drop-off locations at Lakeview Recreation Center, Owens Center, Proctor Center, and Riverplex, and the Noble Center. We'll have boxes out there if anyone wants to drop off school supplies at any of those locations, you can. And also at all of the fire stations in Peoria.
That's awesome, yo. Just to see it all collectively come together from last year to now, seeing the growth of it, and also the acceptance of it.
Yeah.
I think that's the big thing. Because, yeah, logistically, all that's cool, but just seeing the community accept the campaign and get excited for the campaign.
Yeah.
So here's the last question I'm going to ask you, Scott. Chanel answered this last time. I threw it for a loop, but it's a good question. So each of these episodes, I collect people's stories. I treat it as a book. Every book has a nugget of wisdom, a golden something for you to take away from it. So when your story's all said and done, you know, your chief, captain, wherever you end up going in life, right? You never know. Maybe you write an anime. Who knows, right?
Of course.
When your story has come to an end, what's the nugget you want people from your story to take?
Damn. Do you guys know that, like, you guys as like podcast people are so freaking cool?
Well,
I hate to distract from myself. Just like just seeing like the information that you guys pull out from us and like letting us just participate and coming to be a part of your world for a second. That's so dope, man. Like honestly, just
I appreciate
just
that.
hearing that, like, you know, if your life is all summed up, like what do you want people to take from this? That makes you think in so many different dimensions.
I like how he's buffering until he gets the answer.
That's so cool. No. I can answer that.
No, but I mean, you know, it is
so cool.
No, I think there's a lost art form of dialogue and conversation in our world. Just sitting down with someone authentically, listening and picking up questions from what you say rather than, here's my list of 25 questions. Okay, are you done yet? Let me talk. Or like, let me tell you how informed I am about you. Nah, like, the story you gave me today, like everything you've been through, how you grew up here, you Peoria through and through, how you went up to Chanel with the idea and you guys metamorphosis into this big campaign, into your big dreams and goals to be captain one day, into how you deal with your own mental health and how you don't let that affect your family too much, even though when it's hard not to.
Right.
And then how to just micromanage your own emotions while at work, while battling a crazy ass fire. Like, your story has all these layers like an onion.
Yeah.
And like, on top of that, you're a 33-year-old man that has Spider-Man, Invincible. You have all, like, you are the summation of what it is to be a millennial professional right now. When you think about it. Yeah. Or he'll save you, but at the same time, it's like, man, that was dope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when your story's done, what do you want people to take away from it?
Man, I think, honestly, at the end of the day, all I really care about is that people know that I did my best to unite us. And that's what I really care about. I care about human connection. I care about caring about each other. and I care about making things better before we're gone. And if I can do that even just for my kids, if I can do that even for one person that I just don't even know, I'd consider that my greatest accomplishment I've ever had. And that's honest.
He's going to write a comic one day.
He's a good apple.
Yeah.
He's a good apple.
I like it, man. That's good. Now, I appreciate both of you coming by. Thanks for making this happen, Chanel.
I got you wrong.
We into that. Yeah. Next time you tell me, I'm gonna bring my dog next time. Like, what's up, guys? Any last things before we head out?
No, I want to just shout out to everybody that's ever decided to help us or even just had a positive thought for the work that we've done. I want to shout out to all the firefighters that are doing this on their off time when they could be home with family or doing other things. I want to thank every citizen of the city that just sacrifices 1 minute of their time to be selfless and to love each other like deeply and honestly. Even if we disagree, we can be there for each other, and it's a privilege to be able to see that when we do things like this. So thank you.
That right there was Scott Howard, the Secretary of the Afro Firefighters Association of Peoria. Also thank you to Chanel Murry, the Supervisor, Community Connections of the Peoria Park District, for making this happen. Fill the Fire Truck Campaign 2023 going on. Make sure you go follow their Facebook page at
Peoria AFFA on Facebook. So you're going to look for the Afro Firefighters Association of Peoria and Peoria Firefighters Local 50. You'll see us on there.
All right, go back, check out all the other episodes, or I will pull up in a bicycle with a helmet on and spray water. I think that's the best way to go. Exactly. I'm glad you got my reference. All right.
Hey, before you go, you going to celebrity bartend with us next year?
Ooh, yes.
Have to.
I pour heavy.
I do so.
Okay, well,
I don't really think anybody would be upset about that.
We'll make this. Hey, I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down. I got an apron I can put on too.
Yes.
And a chef hat. You heard it here. It's happening. I mean, if you want me to just pop up randomly, be the bar back, I'm down.
Oh man, like we're gonna have a bunch of us that are just out there to connect with everybody. But man, we'd love to have someone like yourself. Like once we get everything going again next year, man, it'd be a privilege, honestly.
He don't like the mic, but you see how well he is on the mic.
He's the millennial Shakespeare.
Go back, check out all the other episodes, or you're not invited to the cookout. All right, peace.